The next question that is on any home buyer's mind is, what is the value of the house I can afford? I just learned that yes, the cost of the house is much more than what I had anticipated it to be, but let me just check if I can actually afford it or not. It is said that when one buys a home, they strip financially naked to be able to purchase that home. Basically, you put in all your savings, you put in all your money into the home purchase. And even then, sometimes we fall short of the funds that we need and we may have to draw back from our dream of buying a home. Rather than these things happening at a later stage, it is important that you do your math today, know how much money you have, how much you can borrow, and set your budget. Once your budget is set, that is when you go home searching and then find a beautiful home that you want to live in and also fits your budget. So in this session, we are going to answer some of your questions like, obviously, what is the value of the house you can afford? How much savings do you need to buy the house? How much loan will you get? What are the parameters basis which your loan value will be determined? And how do you arrive at your budget of your home purchase? The value of the home that you can afford is based on two factors: the funds you have, that is your savings, and the funds that you can borrow, that is your home loan. Once you know these two numbers, together they will determine the value of the home you can afford. In fact, it is said that in home purchase, it is not what you want, but what you can afford, which forms the basis of your home purchase journey. So let's get back to the two states example and see that the house that they liked, the cost of that house was 1.47 crores. Yes, so when I check the value of the house I can afford, I just don't see the cost of the house, but I will also consider overheads and other charges. Basically, we have to be financially ready completely to buy the house. So for the purpose of our understanding, we are going to look at two states couple and the cost of the house that they liked. So we know that the cost of the house that they liked is 1.47 crores, which is divided into 1 crore of home loan, 25 lakhs of down payment, and 22 lakhs of overhead charges. The first thing to check, even before you check your home loan eligibility, is how much money you have in hand right now, because your down payment and overhead charges will form a huge portion of your home purchase decision. So it's very important to go back to your portfolio, see what numbers you have, and answer the very first question. Do you have enough money? You need to calculate the first thing, that is funding for your down payment and overhead charges. So the first thing we want to understand is that for your down payment and your overhead charges, the portion of your home cost that you have to fund from your own side will be done through your savings or your investments. Generally, when a goal is a near-term goal, we look at our savings and investments in debt products like fixed deposits, liquid funds, and any other liquid debt products, so that whenever we come across a home that we love and we want to go ahead with it, our investments are liquid enough for us to encash it and pay it for the home purchase. So in case when you're looking at your investments which you want to mark towards your home purchase decisions, ensure that all of it is in debt funds. If there is any investment in equity funds and you're going to buy the house in the next 1 or 2 years, it is advisable that you liquidate those equity investments and transfer those funds in debt. As we've always said that equity is very volatile and we never know what may happen by the time you actually go to buy the house. So stick to equity investments for long-term goals which are beyond 3 years, and because home purchase is a goal that you're going to accomplish in the next 1 year, transfer your funds to debt funds or fixed deposits. So let's see, funding for two states home, they need down payment of 25 lakhs and overhead charges of 22 lakhs. So they basically need to arrange 47 lakhs from their savings. right? So they need to go back and look at their investments and see if they have that kind of money or not. Let's look at the portfolio of Two States couple and see how much money they have invested in various asset classes. As you can see on the screen, they both have decent investments across fixed deposits of 15 lakhs, liquid mutual funds of 5 lakh, debt mutual funds of 3 lakhs, equity mutual funds of 20 lakhs and EPF, that's Employee Provident Fund of 4,82,800 rupees. So they have a total investment of 47,82,800. Looking at it preliminary, we can see that yes, they need 47 lakhs and they have 47 lakhs in their investments. Doing a basic math, we know that they have enough and they have the money that is needed for the down payment and overhead charges. But one second, is that all? Don't they need money for anything else? When you buy a house, is this it? Don't you need money for your emergencies or any other kind of needs? So when we look at home purchase, we look at investments, we will always remove emergency fund out of your investments and have money at least for the next 6 months of expenses with you, so that if the need arises, you can access that money. And second thing is EPF, Employee Provident Fund, is not to be touched for your goals like home purchase or any other goal. This is your retirement fund and you should use it only for your retirement. So when we look at the numbers practically as to how much is actually available for their home purchase, we see that out of 47,82,800, 4,80,000 rupees goes towards their emergency fund and 4,82,800 rupees goes towards their EPF. So they are left with 38,20,000 rupees for the home purchase. But as we saw that they like the house where they need 47 lakh rupees. So now when you are at such a crossroads, there are only two ways to solve it. One, either you delay the home purchase decision, wait a year or two, have some more savings and then you accumulate enough money to pay for the house, or you can borrow from your friends, family, you have parents who can support you in that sense, then you can do that as well. That you can also take a personal loan from a bank or an NBFC for your stamp duty and overhead charges. Just ensure that you have enough money in hand to pay for those EMI. In the case studies that we are going to discuss at the end of the session, we are going to discuss about a couple and as to how they fund the shortage of their down payment over there. But in case of Two States couple, we know that their shortage is supported from their parents. A lot of times this happens that when we have parents who are in a position to help us financially, there is absolutely no harm to reach out to them and take their support to accomplish our dream of home purchase. So here in this scenario, we've seen that they needed 47 lakhs and they used 38,20,000 rupees from their savings. The shortfall is for an amount of 8,80,000 rupees is provided by their parents. So this is how you check if you have enough for your down payment and overhead charges. So basically, the step one for you would be to list down all your investments, take a total of that, identify what are the investments that you can use for the home purchase and ensure that it is parked in debt funds so that you can use it anytime you want. Let's go through the tool to understand how much savings you have for down payment, and where you're short of it, how much do you need to invest for the next few years to be able to have the enough corpus to buy the house that you want. This tool will help you to identify that if you're short of the money that you need for down payment, how much do you need to invest going forward to be able to finance it. So let's have a look at the tool. Do you have enough savings to buy the house? How much do you need to invest for the shortfall? As you know, you need to edit the boxes highlighted in gray. The first thing is you edit and add the value of the house that you can afford or plan to buy. This affordability number would also come from the next part of this session, where we'll say how much loan you can afford and hence you can arrive at the home value. So we will discuss that tool over there. So this number can also flow from that tool, or you can put the value of the house that you like and you want to see if you can afford it. We've added a growth rate of real estate. It's an assumption based on the past data that year on year real estate is growing at 6%. But if you are in a different city where real estate is growing at a different rate, feel free to edit this number accordingly. And in how many years you plan to buy the goal. In case you plan to buy it this year, keep it 0, and where you plan to buy it in the next 1 or 2 years, you can change it. In our case, we plan to buy the home this year itself, right? Edit, let the numbers flow, and the tool will tell you that how much you need for down payment and overhead charges, given that 20% of the house would go for down payment and overhead charges are considered at 15 to 20% on an average. You can choose to edit this number based on the tool, what is the value of the home you can afford. So over there, the numbers are specified in detail, and you can pull those numbers here and add overhead and other charges. Once you get how much you need to add your investment details over here. Any fixed deposits, debt mutual funds, any equity mutual funds, you're going to sell an existing property to buy this house, or any other assets, please feel free to add those details over here. Do note that when you have investments in equity and you are planning to buy a house in the short term, that is within the next 3 years, please transfer that money into debt liquid funds which are more accessible, because you don't want that in spite of having enough savings aside for the home purchase, you lose that money in the volatility of the equity markets. That is why we always recommend that when you have your short term goals, park all the money that you need for that goal in debt funds. So you will arrive at a total current assets available for the home purchase. In our case, that amount is 38,20,000 rupees. So we've arrived at a shortfall of 8,80,000 rupees. Now I know in our case study, we've considered that the shortfall is taken care of by parents. But we can also choose to fund the shortfall from our own side and wait out for a year. So what you need to do is go up, add your number of goals as 1 year, and then you will have a shortfall of 11,62,000 rupees. But it will also tell you the SIP, or the amount you need to invest or save aside each month to fulfill this shortfall of funds. So in our case, it comes to 91,622 rupees. Now when you go back and look at your numbers of each month, and you feel that 91,622 rupees is a lot and you won't be able to save and invest this much each month, then you need to go back and look at your decision of home purchase, or you need to look at the house that you like or the value of the house you can afford, because this is an endless cycle, right? So you need to look at your base value of the house and reduce it a little and fit it into your budget. So you would know, okay, this is the value of the house that I can afford. So you need to change your expectations based on your reality of numbers. All cities are filled with huge skyscrapers and amazing houses, but we need to start from the place where we can afford it and not from the place where we want something we like. So this tool will give you an idea as to how much funds you have and how much more you need for your down payment and your overhead charges. So the things you need to check for your down payment and overhead charges is that whether you have enough savings and investments to cover the same, right? From these savings and investments, remove your emergency funds, and you cannot touch long-term investments with a lock-in such as EPF and PPF. Third, where you have a shortfall of savings, right? That is, you need more money than you have, then you can either go to some friends and family for help, or you could wait out, push your home purchase decision by a year or two, save more money, and then go ahead with that decision. There is no other way. Yes, there is one, that you could, make your dream more realistically based on the money that you have. Now, once your down payment and overhead charges are taken care of, the second thing that you need to check is the loan value. Yes, majority of your home purchase decision would be based on whether you get the loan of the value that you want to, right? Like, I want to buy a house of 5 crores, but do I have the capacity to get that loan? Not really, right? So that is not a discussion you have after you visited 5 homes, but a discussion that you do today after this session. Now, very important thing in this entire discussion is that we are going to explain you ways in which you can compute what is the value of the home you can comfortably borrow. Now, your banker may give you a higher loan than what we are going to discuss now based on numbers, and they tend to stretch a little. So just don't check your affordability of home loan based on what banker is giving you, but check it based on your cash flows, your capacity, your collateral, and your peace of mind. So let's check how much loan you can afford. Your home loan affordability is based on 4 factors: collateral, capacity, capital, and credit score. Yes, these are the 4 C's of your home loan. And once you understand these 4 C's, you will be able to compute for yourself what is the value of the home loan you can afford to take and be comfortable with the EMIs. And once you get to know the home loan value, then it's basically a reverse calculation to do what is the value of the house you can afford. Yes, don't forget the savings discussion that we just did, but let's right now focus on the home loan. So the 4 factors we're talking about, the first thing to check is collateral. Collateral will basically help you determine the loan you would get based on the value of the property which will be pledged as security against the home loan. Capacity, how much can you afford to pay as EMI each month? How does your cash flows work? Capital, well, a banker will not give you a loan if you do not have the money for the down payment and other charges, because they are going to be like, if we give you the loan, but how are you going to arrange for it? So the banker will also check the capital you have. And the last thing is your credit score, which determines what kind of a person you are when you take a loan. What is your credit worthiness? So we are going to discuss each of these factors one after the other. The first one being the collateral for the home loan. Collateral is also the safety for the home loan. It's basically a security that the bankers keep when they give you the loan. In case of big ticket loans like home loans, the banker requires the borrower, that is you, to keep a security against the loan amount. In case of home loans, that security is the home against which the loan is taken. And the collateral ensures that in case if the borrower is not able to repay the loan, the banker will then have the right to liquidate the asset, basically claim the ownership of the property and even sell the same to recover their dues. So ensure that you have a solid repayment plan in place before taking a home loan. Your collateral basically helps to reduce the risk of default for the lenders, because they know that if you do not repay the property, they would claim the right of ownership on the properties. For a loan to be considered secure, the value of the collateral must meet or exceed the amount remaining on loan. So let's see, how does collateral help you determine what is the value of the home loan you will get? The value of your home would be either 80% of your home value or the loan you are eligible for, whichever is lower. So now if you go to a banker with a home value of 2 crores, right? But based on other factors which we are going to discuss now, like your capacity and capital and credit score, say your loan eligibility comes to 1.5 crores. Now how much loan is the banker going to give you? Because the home value is 2 crores. So my collateral is a higher value, but my loan eligibility is only 1.5 crores. So how are they going to check it? The loan you will get is either 80% of the home value, which is 1.6 crores, or the loan amount 1.5 crores, whichever is lower. So in this case, because the loan that you're eligible for is lower than your home value, you would get a loan for the loan amount you're eligible for. So whenever collateral comes into the picture, you need to check for these two things. It's not that just because the home that you liked is of a higher value, the collateral is of a higher value, you would get a loan. No, there's going to be a sublimit which is set through the loan eligibility. Now let's see how it works reverse. You may be eligible for a higher loan, right? But you're interested in a property of a lower value. You don't really want to stretch yourself to the end. So say the home value is 1 crore, but based on your financial calculations, the loan that you're eligible for is 2 crores. So when you do the math, the 80% of the home value is 80 lakhs and your loan eligibility is 2 crores. Now which is lower? 80 lakhs. So how much loan will you get? You will get a loan of 80 lakh rupees, even where your loan eligibility is higher. So whenever you're looking at collateral, you need to look at two numbers, 80% of the home value or your loan eligible amount, whichever is lower. So we know that in the case of two states, their home value is of 1.25 crores. Yes, overhead charges are not included in your home value, right? And your loan eligibility comes to 1 crore. We are going to see in this session going forward as to how did we determine the 1 crore amount. Now, how much loan will you get? 80% of the home value, which is 1 CR, or loan amount. Now, in this example, given that both are similar, yes, they would get a home loan of 1 CR. Now, once we've compared the loan eligibility based on your collateral, right? Once we've understood that how crucial collateral is, it's very important to understand that you won't get a home loan without collateral, without putting your home as a mortgage, right? It in fact determines the first layer of cutoff for the home loan that can be given out to you. So what is the next factor that we are going to discuss to know your loan eligibility? That is capacity. Now, capacity is nothing but your in-hand income. What is your capacity? How much money can you pay towards EMI, savings and expenses? So your capacity answers the question, what is the value of the EMI you can afford to pay each month? So the first thing that you need to know is, of course, how much EMI can you afford? Now this question is not answered from your bankers, but this question is answered from your cash flows. That is how much money you have in hand each month and what is that value you can comfortably pay towards EMI, keeping in mind that you have enough money for your regular expenses and also have some savings on the side. Now what is that number? That number is 40%. Now this is a benchmark number that we always suggest people that for a comfortable lifestyle from your income, keep your EMI for your home purchase up to 40% of your in-hand income. Your 40% of your in-hand income would continue to go towards your regular expenses, right? It's not that after you bought the house, you're not going to spend on food, grocery, everyday commute, other bills. Many times people tend to not save money when they buy a home. Their entire focus is on, towards the home purchase, prepaying the home loan, and they absolutely neglect the idea of saving and investing. Now this could be very harmful because a few years down the line, you may, yes, have a home of your dreams, but have no money left for any other goals. Now the second thing is that this 40% of your EMI is your total EMI that you can afford. So if you have other loans, those loans EMI will get deducted from this value. Let's understand this step by step. So you need to check, do you have any loan outstanding or any other EMI that you're currently paying? No, then okay. You can consider that your in-hand income's 40% is dedicated towards your home loan EMI. If the answer to this question is yes, then are you planning to pay off that loan before you go for the home loan? If yes, then okay, 40% of your income goes towards home loan, no stress. If no, then your total EMI including your other loans and home loan, will be 40%. To understand this better, let's take an example that you have a total income of 2 lakh rupees. Now 40% of 2 lakh rupees comes to 80,000 rupees. So what is the monthly EMI you can afford? 80,000 rupees each month. Now out of this 80,000 rupees each month, if you have a car loan where you are paying 10,000 rupees each month, the balance amount, that is 70,000 rupees, is what you can afford for your home loan. So this is extremely important to understand. Please don't go on taking 40% EMI for every other loan that you get. Your 40% is your upper limit. It is a total of all EMI loans that you can borrow. So let's go back to our two states example and see how much EMI can our couple afford. We know that their total in-hand income is 2 lakh rupees. They're both earning 1 lakh rupees each. So 40% of their income would be 80,000 rupees. So their monthly EMI is 80,000 rupees. Balance 80,000 rupees goes towards expenses. And what is left, that is your balance of 40,000 rupees, would go towards saving and investing for other goals like your retirement, parents' corpus, you want to eventually buy a house and other things. So now you must be wondering that how can you determine the value of your home loan based on this EMI, right? So let's look at this tool. It's basically, if you remember back in school we did unitary method, it's something like that, but don't worry, we are not going to make you do that math right now. We have a tool which will do everything for you. Let's look at the tool first. So what you need to do is you need to identify what is the current home loan rate and the tenure of the home loan that you want to take. Generally the home loan tenure ranges from 20 to 30 years. So in our case, we've taken that the home loan tenure is 20 years. So what is the value of the home you can afford? That will be determined based on your EMI value. Your income is 2 lakh rupees. We are using the case study of two states for this calculation. There is a drop down here. So the EMI you are planning to take is 40%. So your EMI value comes to 80,000 rupees. Currently, the interest rate is around 7.5%. So we've taken 7.5%. The tenure of the loan is 20 years. So we arrive at a number that the value of the loan you would get basis this is 99.3 lakhs. So approximately, for easy convenience, we're going to use the number 1 crore in our example going forward. So what is the value of the home loan you can take? That is 1 crore. Let's continue the discussion. We will continue the tool as we go forward. So now you see that basis your EMI of 80,000 and interest rate of 7.5% and loan duration of 20 years, the loan value two states couple would get is around 1 crore. So from your EMI you've arrived that 1 crore is the loan you would get, and you have to pay an EMI of 80,000 rupees per month for the next 20 years. I know it seems a long time, a long duration and a lot of EMI. That is how home purchase works, and we're going to discuss various other factors of prepaying your loan and managing your EMI as we move forward. In fact, we have a dedicated session on home loan where we are going to discuss different possibilities of managing and arriving at your home loan value. So now let's go ahead and understand from this home loan, how do you arrive at the value of the home you can afford? So now if you remember from the beginning of the previous session, we are explaining that your home loan is nothing but 80% of your home value. So we did a reverse calculation, basically how much of your home value is going to be a home loan, and hence the value of the home that you can afford is 1.25 crores. In the calculation, we've considered 80% as the denominator to calculate your home value because two states couple are taking a home loan for the 80% of the value of the home. In a situation where you're taking a home loan of a lesser value of the home, for instance, you're taking a home loan for 60 or 70% of the value of the home, then that amount would come in the denominator and would help you compute your home value. Now in this, you can add overhead charges which are added below. We've given a split of all the overhead charges that we discussed in the previous session: your stamp duty, your registration, brokerage, furnishing and maintenance cost, so that you can arrive at the final or the total cost of the house that you can afford. So the home value that you can buy consists of 80% towards loan, 1 crore, 20% of your down payment, that is 25 lakhs. And hence we've arrived at that Krish and Ananya can afford to buy a home of 1.25 crores. And as I just explained in the tool as well, that do not forget to account for the overhead charges that they have. What is a 4-step method for capacity? How much EMI can you afford? This is basically 80,000 rupees per month. We've already done the calculation based on 40% of their take-home income. Do you have any other EMI? If the answer to this question is yes, then you reduce that EMI amount from your 40% amount to know the exact EMI that you can claim for home loan. In this case, we do not have any other EMI, so the entire 80,000 rupees can be considered as your EMI for home loan. Calculate the value of your home loan. So from EMI, you calculate the value of your home loan based on the interest rate and the tenure of the loan. Considering interest rate at 7.5% and tenure at 20%, you are able to calculate the value of the home loan, which is 1 crores. Once you have the home loan value, by dividing home loan value by 80% or the extent to which you are going to take the home loan, you will be able to compute the value of the home you can buy based on the EMI that you put in point 1. And in our case, the home loan was 1 crore and we're taking 80% loan. So our value of the home would be 1.25 crores. The entire discussion that we just had is the most important thing to determine what is the value of the home loan you can get and eventually what is the value of the home you can afford to buy. All the other parameters are something that helps you to substantiate these numbers. But if your monthly cash flows are not proper, they are not in place, getting a home loan, repaying it for the next 20 years can be a nightmare. Hence, it's extremely important to ensure that you stick to 40% of your in-hand income towards EMI. You spend balance money towards your home living expenses and try to save at least 10 to 20% of your income for other future goals. Another important thing to note here is that as year on year your income would increase, your EMI remains constant. So the EMI burden on you would eventually reduce and hence your savings would also improve. In fact, many times banks will give you a loan with an EMI which is more than 40% of your take-home income, could also extend up to 65% of your take-home income on the assumption that in future your income will increase and hence your EMI burden would reduce. But it is for you to decide what is that comfortable EMI you want to afford and then go for the home loan accordingly. Based on various such factors as comfortable cash flows, need for regular expenses, your savings, and also mental peace that okay, you are managing your month on month comfortably, we've arrived at the number of 40% of your take-home income. Now, once your collateral is taken care of, your capacity is done, the third factor or the third C of your home loan eligibility is capital. The bank will check if you have enough capital to pay for the rest of the amount that you need for your home purchase, right? And that comes from your savings, your assets, also known as your capital. So we've already discussed this in the beginning of the session, where we discussed if you have enough for your down payment and overhead charges. So your capital is nothing but if you have enough money to pay for them. Don't forget that your overhead charges would include your registration, stamp duty, maintenance, brokerage charges, decoration and furnishing charges, and GST. So we've already seen that Krish and Ananya have enough funds to pay for the down payment, and the shortfall is being matched from their parents. The criteria of capital can be correlated to the first part of this session, where we check that if you have enough for down payment and overhead charges. The last C, and one of the most important C's which a lot of people tend to ignore until the last minute, is your credit score, or the factor which helps you determine the credit worthiness of your home loan. Your credit score is basically a numerical expression that represents your credit worthiness as to how good you are in repaying your debt. It determines how much loan you would get and at what interest rate. Are you a good loan paying person? Do you repay your credit cards on time? Has it ever happened that you defaulted on your home loan? If these are the things that has happened with you, that could mean that your credit score could be lower. So even before you're doing all these things, it's very important to check your credit score, because that will determine what interest rate you will get. Even where you have your capacity, capital, collateral, savings, funding, everything. But if your credit score is bad, it could be a game changer for your home loan decision. So let's understand what are the factors that determine your credit score, how can you check your credit score, and how can you improve it. So credit score is a 3-digit number which represents your credit worthiness. Generally, the credit score ranges from 300 to 900. It is determined based on your repayment tracks. If you've taken a loan in the past, it is also determined based on your credit card payment tracks. And it is provided by credit bureaus like CIBIL. Now, what are the things that determines your credit score? So you can keep these things in proper check. Your repayment history, your credit utilization ratio. So if you have a credit card, how much of your credit card limit that you get on your card is utilized by you. If you're utilizing too much, like you're utilizing 100% or more than that, or too little, then it could impact you negatively. Generally ensure that you're utilizing your credit card limits up to 50%. Credit card applications. Are your credit card applications rejected? Do you even have a credit card? If you don't have a credit card, it could impact your credit score negatively, because there's no way to check your credit score then, right? Assuming, of course, home loan is your first ever loan. Credit mix. Have you borrowed for different things, like, even from Amazon and Flipkart, when you're borrowing on zero cost EMI using a debit card, credit cards, what are the different cards you have? If you've taken a loan for education and a car and you've repaid them regularly. You must increase your credit card limits frequently. It also shows confidence in you and the banker that you can borrow more money and you're repaying it regularly. Lack of credit history. As I said, all these factors determine your credit score. Now, if you've never borrowed anything, you've never had a credit card, and you directly go for home loan as your first loan, then it may happen that your credit score could be a little off. So it's important that you go and check it. So how do you check your credit score? You can check your credit score for free by visiting the official website of TransUnion CIBIL. So just do one thing, like while we're at this session, you can pause the video after the steps are given and check it for yourself immediately. Visit thecibil.com, click on Get Yours Score Now, fill in your personal details like your email ID, your PAN, your name, etc. You will receive a verification email, following which you will be required to confirm some details about you, and once all of these things are done, you will get your CIBIL score on your email. Now, what is a good credit score? Any score above 750 is considered as a good credit score. Ensure that you keep checking your credit score regularly before you apply for your home loan. If your credit score is lower, there are ways to improve it, or you can start working on the factors that we just discussed. Pay your credit cards on time. Don't overutilize your credit cards. do use the credit cards that you have and do buy some things on loan. But do remember that all these things would put you in a debt loop. So ensure the basic thing of the entire credit worthiness and credit history is to repay your debt on time and in full. Never ever default on any debt, credit cards or any loans. If you don't do that, your credit score is bound to improve. So take a loan but pay it on time. So let's check what's the credit score of our two states couple. We know that Ananya's is 890 and Krish's credit score is 780. So they have a good credit score to get their home loan approved. So once your credit score is also in place, the banker would disburse the home loan after your capital is paid for and all the other things are in place. But this 4 C's will help you determine how much loan you can afford to buy with a comfortable lifestyle. Collateral will basically help you determine the loan you would get based on the value of the property, which will be pledged as security against the home loan. So what do we check here? 80% of the home value or the loan amount, whichever is lower. Second, capacity. What is your in-hand income? 40% of your income should go towards your EMI. Capital, do you have enough savings for your down payment on overhead charges? And credit score represents the credit worthiness of a person. A credit score of more than 750 is good enough to go ahead and get you a good deal from the banker with respect to interest rates and tenure. So we are going to discuss in the home loan session as to how interest rate and tenure would impact your loan amount. So what are the factors for two states couple? Their home loan is of 1.2 crores and the value of the house is around 1 crore. So they would get a home loan for the value of the house. Their capacity income is 2 lakh rupees. 40% of the EMI of that is 80,000 rupees would go as EMI. Based on this, they would get a home loan of 1 crore. They have a capital of 47 lakhs from their fixed deposits, debt funds and equity funds, and also some support from friends and families. They both have an individual credit score of 750 plus, which is great for the home loan because they would get the best interest rate, which would impact their EMI and home loan value accordingly. So we now know that both Krish and Ananya pass on all the 4 factors or the 4 C's of home loan and they would get a home loan of 1 crore. Refer to the tool, what is the value of the home you can buy, to do your calculation and find out what is the value of the home you can afford to buy. So the calculation would start from the beginning. You can also go back and look at the tool. Their income together is 2 lakh rupees. So the EMI that they can afford is 80,000 rupees. Now keeping the factors of loan as interest at 7.5% and tenure of the loan as 20 years, the home loan is 1 crore. Home loan forms 80% of home value. So the value of the home that they can afford to buy is 1.25 crores. So yes, the value of the home that Krish and Ananya can afford is 1.25 crores. And they also have savings and support from family for 47 lakh rupees. So we know that the value of the house that they can afford is so much. Now, before we even move ahead and discuss other sessions, right, it is important that you go right now, put your numbers in the tool and calculate for yourself as to what is the value of the home you can afford today. For some of you, it may be a good position. For some, it may not be. But it is very important to face the reality and know for yourself that yes, this is the value of the house I can afford, and if it's lower than what you want, you know what are the savings, investments and things you have to do to attain your dream home. So do not hesitate to use the tool and calculate for yourself. And anywhere you get stuck, you know you can reach out to us either by using the tools of our website or connecting with us on our Facebook group. So it's time that you calculate the value of the home you can afford for yourself. So what are the 3 major learnings from this session? Your dream home may cost you more than what you imagined it to be, so you must know what's the cost of the home. Once you know that, your value of the home is determined by two things: the savings that you have and the loan that you can borrow. So the savings you have will take care of your down payment, and the loan that you can borrow is determined based on 4 C's of the home loan. After this session where you've learned what is the value of your home, in the next session we are going to teach you, are you ready to buy your dream home? Do you have everything in place before you take the plunge to buy your home? And that is what we are going to discuss in the next session.